Hey guys, welcome to the channel today. I'm going to do a video actually on, it's weird, I was actually doing this video last Thursday, so I actually did a whole thing about Lord Vader and about the fact that most people don't like him and he's got some drawbacks, but he's not as terrible as people think, and yada yada. Well, I even did some gameplay footage. I did a whole thing, and literally the next day before I could publish it on Saturday or Sunday, which was my original plan, CG did a whole bit. Now let me just, if I get the right window, they did a whole bit, right? Like this. That they did a whole bit about the next era, which is the Rangers of the Sith type. And it is where the fun begins, because they talked about how we're going to make a new Dark Side clone team just for Lord Vader, going to make him better, make Lord Vader, I guess, a whole different team, because at the minute he uses like an unaligned Force user Empire kind of team. They talk about how the new legendary is going to be some guy called Mace Windu, and then they suggest that Grand Moff Tarkin, so anyone who doesn't know from the Clone Wars TV series, Grand Moff Tarkin works with Anakin quite a lot when Anakin's still Anakin, and initially hates him. Well, not hates him, but certainly doesn't like the fact that he's not a career soldier and he's a general who's leading the army, or the Galactic Republic army. And after some missions, he starts to respect Vader, Anakin, I should say, as he realizes that Anakin is kind of ruthless to some level. I mean, that's the Clone Wars TV series, shows you the degradation of Anakin from nice guy Jedi, conflicted a little bit, loss of his mother, all that kind of thing, through to Darth Vader, right, essentially. So Grand Moff Tarkin getting reworked to use for the same team. That's very nice, because most of us have Tarkin at high level from unlocking Lord Vader, so it's a nice bit. But one of the, I guess I should mention here is they do say here, this is the new raid, right? The Order 66 Younglings raid. I'm not sure they're going to call it that, but anyway, Jedi Temple, all that kind of thing. Bad Batch units, which we just had unlocked, are going to be one team. Revenge of the Sith era characters, the next group of characters. So these troopers we're going to get, like Apo and I forgot the name of the other one, CX2, the sniper from Riley from the TV series. And they said, as well as transmission loss, I will bet you one Galactic Republic credit that is the next Galactic Legend, right there. That they are mentioning it, which means the Galactic Legend will almost certainly be linked to this era, the end of the Republic, the start of the Empire, Revenge of the Sith, kind of like all that kind of time. Basically, one of the most popular time periods in modern Star Wars, I guess, in ways of we look at it. But anyway, I was actually going to talk about my guy Lord Vader and tell everyone, oh my goodness me, he's actually not that bad. So firstly, they're going to add more characters that work with him, so maybe he will be even better. But that being said, he's a much better character than people seem to give him credit for. His whole kit works on damage over times, and on basically stealing mastery, or copying mastery, I should say. Not really stealing, copying mastery from unaligned Force users and Empire characters that are in his team. If you're not one of those, but you're dark side, he just takes it flat out. But most people don't do that, so he just copies it instead, essentially, and adds it to himself. He has a couple of, I guess, interesting or intricate details which I really love about him. Firstly, when he's in his ultimate stance, there are no revives, so a bit like SLKR. Kylo Ren has this unrevivable thing, a bit like Sudden Whirlwind for Rey. He has the same mechanic specifically for the end of the Galactic Republic time period, when he's doing the whole Ashes of the Empire, Ashes of the Republic. Ashes of the Empire, Ashes of the Republic. Ashes of the Empire is way later on. He's also immune to a bunch of stuff as well when that kicks in. The other thing that's kind of cool, straight up, is that he does reduce cooldowns. So he takes a turn to do the ultimate, which reduces the cooldowns by 1. He also, as part of that, also reduces it down by a second time. Then he takes a bonus turn. So if you've got these on cooldowns of 2, these abilities here, he can use them when he comes around next, which is really great. However, what I was going to say about him is that he's not such a bad character, and most people pick on him, can criticize him for, I guess, 3 things, right? 3 main things. The first is his unlock, right? Because his unlock requires you to have multiple characters that you don't maybe want to level up high level. So you've got ARC Trooper. ARC Trooper is not a bad character, but still relegate ARC Trooper. Relegate Count Dooku. Yeah, relegate Count Dooku. Padme doesn't really need to be. Her kit really works at Relic 5. Don't really need to be relegated. But even so, she's a good character, but doesn't really need it. Anakin, you can't really argue with. He is a good character. But there's 4 relegates, which if you compare, I guess, to Kenobi, which is at the same time period of when he came out. Whoop. You've got Relegate Kenobi. Well, Kenobi's a tank for that team, so it's pretty good. No relegates in the second session. And Grandmaster Yoda, that's probably a bit weak, but half the relegates, right? So half the relic materials that you might need to unlock Lord Vader versus Jedi Master Kenobi. So it's true, he does have slightly more requirements than us, but I would argue that if you look at the characters, Anakin, ARC Trooper, Padme especially, they're all useful characters. They're all not that bad. Dooku, I can give you the argument that Dooku is not the best, right? We're using with Darth Bane mostly, right? But the other 3 are pretty good. I would also say if you look at later ones, so we've got Jabba the Hutt now. Yeah, exactly, Jabba. I mean, Han Solo relegate. Yeah, I mean, he's a good character. Only 1 relegate for Han. So I guess I would argue that maybe Jabba's a bit easier. Or a lot easier, in fact. Whereas Leia has R2D2 there, and that's it. So it's true that he does have significantly higher requirements than his compatriots. So Leia, Jabba, Kenobi. Of course, Ahsoka has more, right? Ahsoka's crazy because she's got Reg 9s now, because she's got Snips. She's got Anakin, of course, again. She's got Ahsoka Tano, Commander Ahsoka Tano. And she's got Fulcrum. And she's got Plo Koon as well. Plo Koon is like, I mean, why would I level him to relegate? But okay. So 3 Relic 9s and 2 Relic 8s. So that is certainly higher. And I guess this is what the comparison goes, because to me, Ahsoka is not that much better. You're going to be like, oh no, she's much better. Ahsoka has, one of the second criticism of Lord Vader, which I guess feeds straight into this, is Lord Vader has many counters, right? You could use Bo-Katan Kryze. You can use Dr. Aphra on a good day. You can use Starkiller sometimes. You can use Bounty Hunters, Fennec Shand, or used to be able to. It's not as good as it used to be. You can use Jedi Master Luke, Jedi Master Kenobi, Jabba the Hutt, I think, as far as I'm aware. I actually don't know if Jabba the Hutt works. I presume he must do. You can probably use Darth Bane with Palpatine now. So Vader has got a lot of counters, right? I mean, that's one of the next biggest criticism of Lord Vader. But if you look at the counters list, right? If you look at, so this is the current season we're going. Sorry, 2 seasons ago, because we're in season 64 right now. So 2 seasons ago. So you've got the full days. There's like 1.9 million battles, right? And you can see that Vader is the 9th highest defensive team down here, seen 75,000 times, you know. So like half the time of Rey, half the type of Jabba, and half the type of Queen Amidala. Okay, so there's a lot more of these guys for sure. Don't get me wrong. But if you look at the win percentage, right, people win against Vader 82% of the time. It's pretty solid. But then you look teams above, right? So Rey, yeah, 77, right? Rey's a better defensive team, no doubt. Jabba the Hutt, better defensive team. Leia, built as a defensive team, definitely better. But then if you look at the odds, he's the same as Jedi Master Kenobi, right? He's better than Malgus, he's better than Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, he's better than Qui-Gon Jinn, which we often put in defense. He's better than Finn, he's better than Great Mothers, he's better than Gungans massively, he's better than Queen Amidala. Actually, we all talk about Queen Amidala, but he's a really hard team to beat, right? He is a better defensive team than people give him credit for, frankly. If you look down the list of teams, it's true, Ahsoka has quite a low one. Though I would argue Ahsoka's because people don't know what to do with Ahsoka yet. You know, that's more the thing with Ahsoka. He's about the same as Balin. People talk about how good Balin is, right? He's better than Jedi Master Luke massively. He's worse than Kylo, though Kylo, I would argue again, is because we just got Darkseid Rey, and that's people are not sure what to do against Darkseid Rey. And it's that uncertainty, and people throw things at it, they don't know what to do, right? Better than all these other teams, right? There's only actually a handful of teams that are actually better than Lord Vader on defense in terms of win ratio, and they are Ahsoka, they are Kylo Ren with Dark Rey, Leia, Jabba, and Rey, right? So, you know, in terms of defense, he's actually pretty good. Which then brings like to the third thing, right? So he's too expensive. He's not actually that good on defense. He's not actually that useful. And the third thing is he doesn't actually do much if you attack with him instead, right? Because look, Bo-Katan walks over him like it's super easy, right? Or Bane. There you go. Bane does a very easy job too. Or Kenobi wins 9 times out of 10. Like they're all pretty high stats, right? Jedi Master Luke wins 8 times out of 10. That kind of thing. But one of the best teams in the game right now, defensive teams, is Rey, right? Rey with Ben Solo, Rey with Ezra, and then the other two pieces are kind of mixed. You can have Little Cal, you can have Jedi Training Rey, you can have Shorty, you can have Barriss, you can have Fulcrum. Is that one? Yeah, that's Fulcrum. Yeah, gotta make sure we don't get the wrong. You can have Holdo. Like, there's lots of variations, right? Lots of variations in the Rey team. But as you can see, if you use Malicos Starkiller, you win. Yeah, pretty consistently with the Starkiller Malicos teams. I did that one tonight in my Grand Arena. It's kind of, it's okay. The banners are not the best sometimes, but it's fine. However, and this is a really important thing about Rey, and you think people probably don't realize because they don't use it very often. If you actually use Lord Vader against Rey, you actually win basically 100% of the time, right? Now it's not done very often because people don't use it very often because they don't use Lord Vader to attack with. They chuck him on defense for the most part, right? He actually wins pretty much consistently all the time. No matter how many combinations of teams you can pick, he always wins. Always wins, right? I don't know if it goes back to he wins. This is the thing, right? People don't use it very often, but he wins loads of the time. Rey actually struggles against Lord Vader. Like, that's actually one of her biggest weaknesses as a team, and this is including Ben Solo, this is including Ezra, this is including the best version of Rey's team right now. The team that we just said, you could use Malicos Starkiller, and it's like a 95 to 98% win rate for those ones. You could just use Lord Vader and you'll win straight up, not a problem at all. Instant win basically with this kind of team here. And you can see here the other thing that's important about Lord Vader, he's using like all sorts of variations, right? Piet comes in for this one. So any other versions you got here? Ninth Sister, adverts. Ninth Sister comes in for this one. Always wins. Doesn't seem to have a problem. And Rey has always struggled against Vader because of the way his kit's built, and vice versa, the way her kit's built. It's like you can't do that fight very easily at all. It just doesn't work very easily. So it's back to the game. Whoop. Back to Lord Vader. So my argument is this, simply. Is he over expensive compared to his competitors Kenobi, Jabba, Leia? Yeah, he's more expensive. Though not that much more, but he is more expensive, I'll give you that. I would also argue, though, he's less expensive than Ahsoka, who can be beaten by Bo-Katan Kryze. So just like Lord Vader, Ahsoka, I did that in Grand Arena a bunch of times. Ahsoka gets beaten up by Bo-Katan, no problem at all. Not even close for some of the 3v3 ones especially. But he's cheaper than her, right? Second thing, he's not going to defense. Well, he is not bad at defense, right? We're talking about he wins 82%. Sorry, he loses 82%. He wins 18%, sorry. Which is only betted by 5 GLs, basically. Not all of them. And even then, some of those you're going to attack with anyway. One hopes, right? You're not going to attack with one. And some of those, he only took in like 2%. He's only like 2-3% worse than Jabba the Hutt, right? It's not like he's streets behind them, right? The only two he's really behind is Leia and Ahsoka. And Ahsoka is mostly because she's brand new and we don't know what to do with her. Or we didn't know what to do with her at that point. Now we do. So I'm pretty sure this season, her win ratio is going to go back up to like 80% rather than 65 or whatever it was at that time there. Leia is always a bit difficult, right? And then the third thing, people say he can't attack. Well, he can. In fact, he's got a great usage. You can use him against Galactic Legend Rey. And if you don't think he's good on defense, you don't want to waste Malicos, Galactic Legend Rey with Ezra and Ben Solo, Lord Vader is a great way to counter that without having too much hassle and not using a character that you figure that you're not going to use somewhere else. Well, this is not a high cost loss or anything like that. And then the last thing I should add, just because, we're adding to it, he's actually really useful in Conquest and in Rise of the Empire, right? Because in Rise of the Empire, which starts tomorrow, so it's not started yet, he's good on Mission, he's great in Dathomir, he's great on Remember the Plants Geonosis. Those 2 plants there, he's brilliant. All 3, because as I said before, when he does his Ashes of the Republic, he kills people completely. That includes Night Sisters. They do not come back from the dead. No matter the whole like 10-turn revive mechanic that Dathomir has, he overrides that with his ultimate and kills them. And his AoE doesn't matter if they're stealth or not. Those acolytes that are stealth or initiative that is stealth and trying to hide from you, he just kills them all. Deals with that. Likewise, in Conquest mode, he's great because he carries. I've already got the Conquest bit done, so I'm not going to show you now. I just wanted to bits of recording I did the other day. But in Conquest mode, he's great because he carries so hard. Like this one, like some of these here, like this feat here, he carries that one really easily, you know, because Dark Side, Empire characters, he doesn't care that they're not very good. He doesn't need them to be good. He does it himself. It's how his kit works. He just stucks their mastery and kills people with it, you know. He works brilliantly whenever you want to do any Dark Side must win type matches like that. Always does. So do I think he's the best Galactic Legend? No, he's not the best Galactic Legend at all. That seems to be Leia, frankly. Leia is probably still, and perhaps always will be, who knows, the best Galactic Legend. But is he the worst one? I would argue that he's not as bad as people make out. He has a great usage in PvE. He has great usages in Grand Arena against Rey. He's actually pretty good on defense, and he's not as expensive as the most brand new Ahsoka is. So I don't know, maybe you disagree, maybe you think he's a terrible character. I don't think he's as bad, and he's going to get much better with this rework with the Dark Trooper clones, so he's going to get even better at this point here. But anyway, leave a comment below if you disagree. That's completely fine, you're allowed to disagree. And I will catch you guys all next time. Until then, ciao.